Hi Libra, and welcome to your November 2023 horoscope. 2024 is almost around the corner, and to support you further, I opened up 10 slots so that you can book a personalized reading for the year ahead. We're going to sit down for a full hour, you and I, and we're going to take a look at your personal chart and what themes are coming up for you in the year ahead. You can visit the booking link down in the description box. We start off the month with Jupiter in your 8th house opposing the Sun in your 2nd house. You have a tendency, Libra, to be quite honest and critical with yourself and to not go so deep and intimate and vulnerable with others. You tend to keep things on a surface level when it comes to how you relate to others. So this opposition is really going to ask you to step beyond that, to find this balance between being vulnerable and showing your true self to others. Keep in mind that when you open up, when you speak honestly, that your relationship can only get stronger from it. On November 3rd, Venus in your 12th house is opposing Neptune in your 6th house. As I just shared, there is a really picky side of you that perhaps you don't show to the rest of the world, that you tend to keep to yourself. Maybe you're quite picky about your limiting beliefs, about the thoughts that you tend to have that nobody has access to. So during this day, during this opposition with Venus and Neptune, it's time to put into practice that pickiness that you have with yourself into your actual day-to-day routine. You tend to lack boundaries when it comes to your day-to-day routine. You might not have a very good routine in place. So it's time to take some of that pickiness that you have in your head, some of those amazing ideas that you have about who you can become, and to actually put them into practice. On November 4th, Saturn in your 6th house goes direct. So Saturn is officially done with Aquarius. It's staying in Pisces in your 6th house. So you might find that you're facing some difficulties now when it comes to your health, your routines, putting in together a really nice routine that you can rely on, getting to bed on time, eating well, and exercising. It might seem that you're taking steps to get there, but reality is just hitting you in the face. One thing to keep in mind with Saturn transits is there is often a way out. You just have to look around the wall and walk around it in another way. So really approach your routines with a very mature perspective, with very grounded steps to get to where you want to go. On November 13th, we have a new moon in your 2nd house. So we have the Sun, the Moon, and Scorpio in your 2nd house, opposing Uranus in your 8th house. So the theme of establishing yourself, really proving yourself, establishing your self-esteem, your self-worth continues with this new moon. A new moon implies a new beginning. And when this is happening in your 2nd house, I really see this as a time where you say enough is enough. I want to prove myself to myself. I know that I can do these things that I set out to do. However, keep in mind that this new moon is opposing Uranus in your 8th house. So there might be some ups and downs and some uncertainties when it comes to your shared resources, your relationships, that make it a little bit difficult for you to get going and for you to really focus on yourself. Just a couple of days later, on November 17th, the Sun and Mars are conjunct and they trine Neptune in your 6th house. So if you have allowed yourself to accept the new insight, the new information, the new beginning that came in with the new moon a couple of days ago, then you might find that on this day, you're finally able to close off Scorpio season with a beautiful feeling of self-belief in yourself and self-confidence. This might come due to the fact that you realize that you're still lovable, even though you might not be perfect, and that with this love and self-acceptance that you will always get there in the end. On the 21st, Mars and the Sun reach the final degrees of Scorpio, and as they do so, they sextile Pluto in your 4th house. For the last 20 years, Pluto in your 4th house has been asking you to find meaning and purpose with your family, with your home, with your ancestors and where you come from, and to really get deep with what you desire and get rid of all of the other expectations that others have of you. So with the closing off of Scorpio season, with the Sun and Mars moving out of your 2nd house and starting to get into your 3rd house, it's a beautiful way, the sextile to Pluto, to remind you of all of the things you learned about who you are at your core, and to don't forget them, and instead to allow them to fuel you forward, to allow you to keep that strong self-confidence that you've gained throughout the Scorpio season. On November 23rd, the Sun enters Sagittarius and squares Saturn in your 6th house. And just a day later, Mars enters Sagittarius and squares Saturn in your 6th house. So with this shift into Sagittarius, we see that your energy and your focus is shifting away from you and a little bit more to all of the information happening around you. You're becoming a little bit more curious. You want to explore. You want to gather info, gather inspiration. However, because the Sun and Mars are squaring Saturn at this time, starting this exploration, getting into this curiosity might take a little bit of time, might not happen so easily at the beginning. This is because, remember, we talked about it already, Saturn in the 6th house is making sure that you work a little bit extra hard to get all your routines sorted out, to really find the perfect environment that works just for you personally. So there might be these responsibilities that are pulling on you, asking you to make sure you stick to your routine, to really become serious about it. And therefore, this need that you have to explore, to go out, to be curious, to talk to people might be a little bit dampened by these Saturnian responsibilities that you have. Don't worry, this transit is just for quite a short time because the Sun and Mars move quite quickly. So hopefully soon you will be able to get into your curious exploring phase. On November 27th, there's a full moon in your 9th house. The moon is in Gemini in your 9th house, while the Sun and Mars are in Sagittarius in your 3rd house. A full moon means that a new piece of insight or information is being revealed. So you might find that something is being revealed to you in terms of your education, in terms of the courses you're taking or the things that you're learning. And some of this might be coming from all of this exploration that you're doing. Perhaps you've gathered some interesting information that helps you realize what you want to study or how you want to grow or the belief systems that you want to expand in. During this time, we have Venus conjunct the South Node in your 1st house. So this full moon is also really asking you to make sure that you are doing this exploration and choosing what to study and expand and learn further on, really on what you want to learn. So make sure some of those Libran tendencies to people please are not coming in anymore. If you didn't get rid of them during eclipse season, then this is definitely the time to do so. Make sure you're picking out of what you want to do. And this Venus and South Node conjunction continues to get stronger after the full moon. It reaches its peak on November 29th. So overall, Libra, this is a beautiful month to really work on your self-confidence, self-esteem, self-love, and to not be afraid to take that and share it with the rest of the world, to go out exploring, to gather different ideas that others have. And please don't forget all of the wonderful lessons from eclipse season, because there is no time to be wasted. Life is short. So please make sure that you do what you want to do and not what others expect of you. With 2024 around the corner, perhaps you think, yes, I also want extra support for the year ahead. Then I highly suggest booking a 1-hour personal reading with me. The booking link is down in the description box. Make sure you subscribe so that you can catch the horoscopes for the upcoming month as well. And I hope to see you again soon.